Hey, what's up, Facebook? I'm sitting here at the foothills of Table Mountain in Cape Town. If you guys don't know where that is, definitely Google it. It is one of the wonders of the world, and it's a completely flat table on a Table Mountain. And it's at this moment, there's this like cloud cover, like candy floss, that's just kind of like a tablecloth over the mountain. It's super chilly up here, but super beautiful. And I don't know if you can see the view. Super amazing view. That's Lion's Head over there. So today I want to talk to you about, today's number 2 of our personal Facebook Live challenge. And the topic today is my personal transformation. Now, I've had quite a lot of transformations in my life. I'm sure all of you have had those moments in your life where you've experienced something massive, or there's been a huge transformation or a huge realization in your life. And these realizations often can send us in a new direction where we can realize so much from it, and they can create massive changes in our lives and massive changes in our personality, and for me, one of the ones that I want to share with you happened to me about 10 years ago. And at this time, I was suffering with anxiety and stress and panic attacks. I mean, I don't know if any of you have ever had a panic attack before. It is like the worst experience. I think, it's just bad mental programming where you have a lot of negative thoughts and filling your mind with garbage, things that have nothing to do with who you are. But anyways, so I went through a phase of having anxiety and panic attacks and fear of leaving the home. And honestly, I could have said I was maybe one of the most shyest or introverted people you would have ever met. Like, you can ask the people that know me. I never left home. I never did any of that stuff. And for me to be talking live now is quite a huge result of that transformation. So about 10 years ago, I was suffering with panic attacks and anxiety, and what happened is, this was ongoing for about a year of panic attacks, and it literally is the worst experience ever. What happened is I met a man by the name of Christian Stadler, who was a hypnotist. And at the time, he was a wingsuit jumper. They jump out of airplanes with wingsuits on, and he did many amazing things. But he was helping people with mental disorders, or what he called it is neurological dysfunctions. He was a neurological diplomat, helping order the mind, putting things in order, placing, allowing for people to think in more positive realignment. And I somehow got connected with him and went to go see him. I just saw him once in this occasion. And I spent about an hour with him, and he showed me some really interesting things and did a few processes with me. And since that day, I never had anxiety or a panic attack again. And that's been almost 10 years from now, And I had the privilege of training with him and learning from him and studying with him. And he taught me some super amazing techniques. And it kind of got me inspired to want to help people with anxiety and stress disorders. Nowadays, so many people are suffering with stress and anxiety. So many people, either with money or health, or work-related, or just something, almost to the point where if there's no stress, they prefabricate a reason to find stress. So I went to go see him, and he showed me a really interesting thing which changed everything for me. He had a little monitor, and he placed it on my finger. And what it does is it can measure your heart rate. So it can tell you how fast your heart is beating. And when you have a panic situation, your heart rate goes to about 160 beats per second. And at the time, my heart wasn't beating so fast. I was more in a calmer state. But then what he did is he took it and he put it on his finger. And what he did was he asked me, what number do I want this heart rate monitor to beat at? And I said 80. And he raised it to 80. And he said, what number next? And I said 100. And he took it to 100. And then he said this, which changed everything for me. He said, watch this. And he raised that heart monitor to 160 beats per minute, where he started having a panic attack right in front of me with this monitor on his finger, monitoring his heart rate. So basically, in that short example, what it illustrated to me was that that anxiety is basically self-induced. You know, stress is self-induced. And for him to be able to raise it to 160 beats per minute and then suddenly lower it to a calm, balanced, relaxed state, you know, once I actually saw that, it revealed to me how much personal control we actually have over our bodies, over our minds, over our hormones, over our nervous system, over everything, based on the thoughts we think about most frequently. And to be honest, since that moment, I've never had a panic attack again. I've never had anxiety again. And it was probably one of the biggest transformations of my life, because I didn't realize how much personal control we actually have. But for me to realize that, another step came into play. I had to realize that I was in full ownership of everything I was experiencing. I had to take full ownership for everything that was happening to me in my life. Everything. I can't make anyone responsible. I can't blame anyone ever again. And that full accountability put me in a powerful seat, because you cannot change what you do not own. If you do not take ownership that you are the one creating everything that you're experiencing in your life, everything, you do not have the power to change it. And that simple analogy, that story, just illustrated it so perfectly to me. And then after he showed me that, he was actually reading a book at the time called Seth Speaks. And the synchronicity was just perfectly aligned. And Seth Speaks was about a lady, and she was connecting in with a spiritual part of herself, which is basically teaching fundamental laws of the universe and spirituality and just how to live a good, balanced life. And he said to me, read this book every night at 3 a.m. and drink a cup of peppermint tea with it. So for the next year, I woke up every night at 3 a.m. I sipped on my peppermint tea and I read this book. And you know, the important part about waking up at 3 a.m. is 3 a.m. is when your being is at the highest energetic period, when your pineal gland is at the most open. So it's the most receptive time of the day for any person. So I read the whole book at 3 a.m. every single night. It took me a couple months to finish it, and that just shifted my mindset. It shifted my consciousness. It shifted my perspective, and it set me on a whole new journey of transformation. And ever since then, I've just been wanting to learn more knowledge, absorb more information, self-develop, because I realized how much personal power we can actually give ourselves if we nurture ourselves with the right skills, with the right abilities. And all the information is there for us with YouTube, with books. There's more than enough info. But personal empowerment is the key to growth in every individual. And that's my little story that created a massive transformation for me, and it literally set me on a momentum that I'm still riding the current of, and it has a huge reason why I'm even able to be doing this live with you guys today. You know, it's something I never would have thought I was capable of doing, being an introvert, you know, and I think a lot of people are introverts, but they're actually not introverts. They just haven't chosen to step into that version of themselves where they're able to shine their light and connect and share their gifts with the world. And you all have so many gifts. Hey James, how's it going, man? So yeah, I implore you guys to share your transformations, share a bit about yourself. You know, like, we've got so many friends on Facebook, but I don't seem to know anything about any of you. So it would be great if some of you would share some info, connect a little bit, and share a bit about yourself. So thanks so much for tuning in, guys, and listening to my personal transformation. It is honestly such a beautiful day here. The sun's coming out, and I'm wishing you guys have a beautiful, beautiful day further.